Well, happy Monday morning, class. It is good to be with you again. This week marks our halfway point through our time together. And so at the end of this week, we can celebrate that we are 50% of the way through Teams and virtual teams. I want to remind you to continue to engage well and to stay strong in your work. Make sure you're continuing to do good work, that you don't lose steam as the weather gets warmer and you want to be outside and you want to be with your family. Make sure to be putting in the time that you need to do this class well. Now, one key reality that we're going to be talking about this week in regards to teams and groups and just interacting with other people is communication. This is such a helpful reminder for us. It's been a helpful reminder for me to go through this information again because effective communication is one of the keys to living effectively in this world. We've talked about over and over that we are social beings. We talk with other people. We interact with other people, and we want to communicate well. One of the things that we see as a result of the fall, right? We see the Tower of Babel where communication is split into all these different countries and cultures and societies, right? Like the Lord disrupted the language. Then we see at the day of Pentecost, right? The languages are brought back together in the gospel. And so when we talk about communicating well, this has gospel implications for us. It's not just that we can communicate well with our employees or our manager or our supervisor or our families or our church members, but there are gospel implications that we want to be able to communicate the truth that we've been given, the gospel of Jesus Christ. We want to communicate that well. It's a skill that is essential in family life. One of the things that has recently happened with my wife and I, we recently had a newborn. So now we have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. We've got our hands full. It's key for us to communicate well during this while we're tired and we're kind of navigating, going from man-to-man defense with 2 to zone defense now with 3, with us being outnumbered by the kids. We need to communicate well in our home. That way things continue to function well. In church, we're part of, my wife and I are both a part of various committees that need to communicate well in order to get the work done that have been assigned to it. And then at work, I'm a part of an IT team that needs to communicate well with one another. I still continue to interact with the School of Adult and Professional Studies, and so I need to interact with them well. And if I don't communicate well, it can leave people off kilter and not on the same page, and ultimately just not helpful. So one of the things I hope from this as we talk about just kind of general realities of communication and then communication in the workplace, that you will work to apply these things to what's going on in your own heart, in your own life, that we might better reflect Christ. Christ was an excellent communicator of truth. He was able to communicate to different people in different times, in different ways. He communicated to the Samaritan woman very differently than he communicated to the Pharisees. Very differently than he communicated to Peter or James or John or his other disciples. He communicated the message that he was trying to bring to that person in the way that they need to receive it, the way they need to hear it, and the way that they could receive it and apply it well. Now that didn't always happen, right? The person on the receiving end, when talking with Jesus, was still sinful, and so sometimes like the Samaritan woman, she ran to the rest of her community and said, I think this is the Messiah. He just told me everything I've ever done. And then sometimes it's the rich young ruler who walks away sad and sorrowful because he owned much wealth and Jesus just told him to sell all that he has. So I hope that as we go through this material that we'll see that one of the ways we can be a witness for Christ in the world is communicating well, not just the gospel, but communicating well in our everyday lives in addition. So let's get right into the material. I won't continue on preaching here. Let's get into this and make it a great week. Bye.